Monday, November 14th for the Township Committee to order. Please rise for the flag salute. Carl?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law by posting a notice of this meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building and by faxing notice of the meeting to the Atlantic City Press, Star Ledger, Camden Courier, and Atlantic County Record on January the 7th, 2022. Mr. Cheek?
Here.
Ms. Hopkins? Here. Mrs. Link?
Here.
Mr. Patali?
Here.
Mayor Kane?
I'd like a moment of private reflection. Guest presentations, do we have any?
No, sir.
Pardon me?
No, sir.
No? Okay. We
do have early
the
comment.
guest,
We do have early comment?
yes.
We have,
Early public comment?
Excuse me, we have addition, deletion of late agenda items. There were 2 business registrations is all.
Oh, okay. But will we do them now, or will
We just have to add it to the agenda.
we add it to the agenda?
So you need a
Okay.
motion and a second.
I make a motion to add 7A.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Now we have early public comment.
we have Mr. Jim Link for items 6E and F.
Thank you. Just very quickly, and I beg your indulgence for my propensity for the obvious, but on item 6E and F, the dam, I would just be one to urge Township Committee to move forward on this. It's been 20 excruciating years where it's been going back and forth and nothing's been done, and I appreciate the fact that now it looks like, you know, the light is at the end of the tunnel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before Joe says the number that I'm speaking on, I have to correct Mr. Link, who said 20 years. The dam problem, that's D-A-M problem, started when the lake was empty in 1975, and that's a whole lot more than, I think that's 47 years. You're sitting corrected. I believe I signed up for 7F. That is a land sale. That land is on Summers Point Road. It is 560 feet on a county road, 2 acres, pine lands, growth area low. The assessment's $6,400. It is deed restricted to be preserved in the natural state. What is the deed restriction and who placed it upon this 2-acre lot, which was a tax lien foreclosure?
Read it, please.
Yeah, I have the deed restriction here. If you'd like to, it's 2 pages.
Who placed it? Who wrote it?
Let me see. Well, Joan Anderson.
So Joan Anderson
Joan
signed
filed
it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Joan Anderson sent it to be recorded. Let me see. I don't know if I can tell who wrote the document.
Up at the top, Rita, where it'll have grantor, grantee.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Norman Zlotnick, Esquire.
So the township solicitor wrote a deed restriction to put on a township-owned property. Could you then please tell us the date? Because I didn't know the answer.
The date that it was recorded was November 7th of 2007. It was written, or it was made August 6th of 2007. It is deed restricted to stay in its natural state. That is correct. The person that is looking to hopefully purchase it is well aware of that.
My concern was exactly that it is a deed restricted on a county road. There will be no driveway access onto that property. You can't even buy it to make a picnic site unless you're going to approach it by bicycle. I'm aware, as of right before this meeting, who it is that would like to buy it. It's the adjacent owner. My concern is that I thought we had a practice or an ordinance or some policy that required an abutting property would get the first right to buy it, not that this could be bought by me on Park Road to just have it sit there. How do we make sure that the person who wants to preserve it will get to preserve it, and it won't become where you tie two properties together to meet the zoning? Say it again? It's if you're in a FA 10 zone and you got 5 acres, you buy 5 someplace else and you tie them together. I can't think of the word right now. No.
Deed attached?
This,
Deed attached?
this is a full-size piece of property. We have no choice but to do a public. We can't do it as a contiguous owner land sale.
Even though it's completely restricted and can't be used for anything except go there on a bicycle and sit on a tree stump.
Well, probably nobody else would bid on it, but.
I hope you're right. That was my main question. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
There are no other early public comments. sir.
Another one?
No, there are. We're done.
That's it?
That was it.
Okay. Now we have item 3. Formal action may be taken, resolution acknowledging completion of the best practice inventory. Joe?
This is best practices every year. We have received full points, so we are getting the full funding from the state. So our staff did a great job, and thank you, Cindy.
Thank you. Item 3B, street vacation, Columbia
Well, we need to
Avenue.
do it for a resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to speed it up. The Eagles are playing tonight.
Okay.
You have a resolution?
You need to ask for a
So moved.
motion.
Motion? Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We had-
Next, we have the street vacation, Columbia Avenue. Mr. Sandman?
This was subject to a vacation previously. It resulted in litigation. On my advice, the vacation of that street was stopped because the owner of a piece behind it was claiming rights. And now the two people that are adjacent to it, who normally would have the right to come in and say, we'd like it vacated, are renewing that request.
Any discussion?
I think they both signed off on it.
Pardon me, Judy?
I think both parties signed off on,
Yes, they
so,
had motion?
so moved.
Second?
Second.
I'm not sure what
We're making a
we're
motion
voting
to
on.
approve this.
No, this, if you want to move forward, this was just a discussion item because there was a lawsuit against this the last
Right.
time, so the
It's-
lawsuit's been dropped.
So now they
If you-
can,
Is it 5C?
5C is the
Yes,
introduction.
yeah, this was just to discuss it. It's
Okay.
5C if you want to go ahead and introduce it. And I will notify all the parties.
Okay.
So I don't need any action on,
No action
Okay.
until 5C.
yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right, next we have 4, public hearing and adoption of ordinance. A, ordinance 2016-22, bond ordinance appropriate $1,300,000 and authorizing the issues of $1,235,000 in bonds, notes of the Township of Hamilton for the purchase of fire apparatus authorized to be undertaken by the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, New Jersey. Any discussion?
What deposit do we have to put down on that bond? Yeah. 10,
We can't,
5? Okay.
You can't order it until we have the money already, the full amount authorized, is that correct? Yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
It's a public hearing.
I'm sorry,
Public
public?
hearing.
Anybody from the public?
I have a series of questions. Judy, the answer to your question is a 1.3 million, that means a 5% down payment on the bond, which is $65,000. My first question is, what's the source of the 65,000 since this was not budgeted in the adopted budget? What's the source of the 65,000?
Cynthia?
Cynthia?
That's what I had calculated, 65.
I'm sorry?
That's what I had calculated, 65.
The source of the down payment is through the capital improvement fund, which was included in the 2022 budget.
But not this specific 65,000.
We allocated $200,000 for down payment money in the budget.
Does the passage of this bond ordinance permit the ordering of a truck? I'm looking for a yes or no.
Yes.
The mere passage of the bond ordinance. So it's a yes, let me circle it.
No, yeah.
After the
It's
20-day
20
estoppel
days
period,
estoppel.
I understand. This bond is a bond anticipation note, yes?
No. This is a bond ordinance authorizing the appropriation to purchase it and authorizing debt at the sum of the $1,235,000.
So I understand it's a bond, but when the bond is brought down, borrowed into the bank, it's borrowed as a bond anticipation note, which is a one-year note.
If we need the cash, then we'll go out and borrow money.
Borrow the one-year bond anticipation note. That's what I'm trying to pin
Yes,
down.
a
A
bond-
bond anticipation note, which is only for 1 year, can be renewed 4 times for a total of 5 years.
In 3 years, we have to make a principal payment, yes.
At 3 years, you have to make that payment? Okay. My point to you people is, once you draw down that first 1-year period bond anticipation note, it only lasts 1 year, and it has to be renewed, so any interest rate you think you're going to get by going to closing quickly is only going to be for 12 months. And 12 months later, I've been down this path with my 29 years on the HTMUA. After the 12 months, you have to renew it, and you'll get the interest rate, whatever might be available at that point in time. So the interest rate is not a factor on what you're thinking right now. We're not going to lock in a 2% rate that's going to last for the next 15 years. It doesn't work that way. The second part of this, I'm sorry, I have to check my notes here, because I did have, if she answers yes, it's this question. If she answers no, it's the other question. In the language on your agenda, you see it's authorizing not just passing it, but to go to closing. I'm suggesting the passage of the bond allows you to order a truck. You don't have to go to closing. You need to control when the finance office will go to the closing at the best interest of the township. And the best interest I'm talking about are mental interest, not the dollar sign interest. There's no reason to hurry to close it, because that starts that 1-year clock that's what I'm objecting to. It'll take time to get the truck. It usually takes at least a year to get a truck, and I'm sure it's going to take that long now with all the supply chain shortages that we're having with everything you could name. Am I clear? I don't want any confusion of, I'll re-ask my questions.
No, we're fine.
You're good?
Yep.
Carl, you're good? Judy, you're good? Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Anyone else?
Motion to move public comment.
Second.
Second?
Roll call, Rita?
That was to close, you want a roll call
Close.
on closing the public comment?
You don't need it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now,
Now-
Roll call for adoption?
yeah.
Make a motion to move ordinance 2016-2022.
Second.
Rita?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Hopkins? Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
All yes and adopted.
Thank you. Introduction of ordinance, public hearing to be held December 5th, 2022. Ordinance 2017-2022, an ordinance to vacate the following public street situated in the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, and to release and relinquish the public rights therein. Massachusetts Avenue, and repealing all ordinance heretofore adopted, the provisions of which are inconsistent. Any discussion?
So moved.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second? Rita?
Ms. Hopkins? Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
All yes and introduced.
Next, we have item 5B, ordinance 2018-2022, an ordinance to vacate the following alleyway situated in the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, and State of New Jersey, and to release and relinquish the public rights therein. The 15-foot alleyway between 12th and 13th Street in Block 780 on the tax map of Hamilton Township, and repealing all ordinance herefore adopted, the provisions of which are inconsistent herein. Any discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
All yes and introduced.
Next, we have item C, that is the ordinance 2019-2022. The ordinance to vacate portion of Columbia Avenue described by meets and bounds and located in the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, and State of New Jersey. Any discussion? Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
All yes and introduced.
Mr. Mayor, with your permission, I would like to notify council that had previously filed suit with respect to this property as a professional courtesy.
That would be fine. Awards, next 6, awards of bids, contracts, and change orders. A, resolution authorizing the warden of a contract to Bowman and Company to provide professional service for administration of the Section 125 cafeteria plan for the year 2023, and authorizing the CFO to sign, amount not to exceed $2,000.
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Next, we have 6B, resolution approving the 2023 use of facilities agreement between the Township of Hamilton and the Hamilton Elite Football Club, and authorizing the mayor to sign the same. Do we have any discussion?
Yeah, I understand that they are responsible for upkeep of the concession stand. Would that include if there's issues with the roof?
I understand that exactly what you thought, that they're upkeeping. Greg, would the chief know? Yeah, I gotta go the same. Township owned property. Yeah, yeah.
Good evening.
So my understanding is that we are responsible for the repair of the roof.
Okay.
The township would be.
The township.
It's a township-owned building.
A township-owned building.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there a leak right now?
No, but there's a couple of shingles missing, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions?
Before he
It's a
goes back?
township-owned building, and, yeah.
You know, I didn't know exactly how far that went with that. I kind of didn't think it went that far, but
I conferred with Brett Knoll, so I'm going to go with what he says.
Don't blame it on him.
Listen, you got to blame it on somebody. Might as well be him.
Oh, easy. Any other discussion?
No.
Do we have a motion?
So moved?
second.
Second. Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Next, we have item C, resolution approving 2023 use of facilities agreement between the Township of Hamilton and the Mays Landing Athletic Association, authorizing the mayor to sign. You want to ask about the roof again?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're good over there.
Any discussion?
No, no discussion.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Should I say Deputy Mayor Cheek? I'm
Yes.
sorry. All yes and carried.
Next, we have item D, resolution approving the 2023 use of facility agreement between the Township of Hamilton and the Hamilton Youth Athletic Association, authorizing the mayor to sign.
So moved.
Second?
Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Cheek?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
E, resolution approving a memorandum of interagency agreement between the Township of Hamilton and Atlantic County construction of a new dam spillway and related improvements at the Lake Lenape, Township of Hamilton, Atlantic County. Would you like to comment, Mr. Simmons?
I would. We have been operating under a 1991 agreement which created the Lenape Dam Committee. And it's worked out through the cooperation of the township and the county. The county and the township each own half, and they have split the maintenance costs in half. Currently, we are putting together bid packages which are out for the construction of a new spillway. Also on the agenda tonight is the creation of an easement for staging and storing to facilitate the construction of that. The memorandum that's before you is very comprehensive. It was the suggestion of the county that that was the best way to operate. I agree. I have reviewed the terms of it. I find it to be fair. I also find it to be, for the most part, identical as to how we operate currently. This ends up in an agreement that will survive time. What we have questionably may not. So I am strongly recommending the execution of the memorandum, as well as the easement, which is next.
Any questions or discussion?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. The dam improvement will cost us, cost $6,801,000. And, we are responsible for the remainder of that agreement, where the, Carl reached out to the federal government for assistance in this, and we secured a grant of, how much was it?
4.6.
4.6 million. I'm amazed that that it is going to cost this much, but that's the price of inflation. The in 1940, in 1975, when Lenape Park did not have any water in the lake for several years. The cost for doing that dam project was how much? Yeah, 3 years. Yeah, 3 years of hardship for my family anyway. My parents own Lenape Park and had to conduct business without the water being in the lake, which was a very difficult thing to do. And we were just so happy. So I'm reflecting on my father and my mother, who are passed at this point. They are just so happy to see that that dam will be addressed and will be fixed, because it not only affects all the people in the lake, but it affects all the people down, in the river. And it is such a monumental, let's say, accomplishment, because without it being done, the people are imperiled downstream as well as upstream. So it's something that really is wonderful. So I would definitely support it.
Anyone else?
Bob, I want to ask the elephant in the room question. How do we protect Hamilton Township when we have a member of the committee that is sitting on the committee here, and their employer is winning contracts that are repairing the dam? And I'm not insinuating that anything's wrong. I'm just trying to build in protection for. No, I'm not. Actually, it's a very fair question. This gentleman owns several companies, of which one Carl works for. But there is a perception in the public, and I'd like to know, does this protect us?
I think that this memorandum,
Excuse me, everyone. Go ahead, Mr. Sandman.
I think that this memorandum assists in regulating information flow.
Okay.
But as I wrote each of you a letter, I can't answer these questions because I represent you, Ms. Hopkins, the same as I represent Mr. Patali. And I can't give you advice or him advice with respect to each other. And I wrote that opinion letter to all of you and said that. And in addition to that, I said, for that reason, I can't give the Township Committee that advice. But I can comment on the content of this memorandum. And this memorandum alleviates some of the probabilities of what you're suggesting. And that's all I can say about that.
Thank you.
This document here, is this a public document?
Memorandum, Carl?
Yes, this whole thing. Last page, Exhibit B, Lenape Dam, Labyrinth Spillway, design cost estimate. Is this a public document?
It is if it's voted on tonight.
Just making sure. My only concern is not having the dam committee. As you go through and you read some of this, now I lost my spot, I'm sorry. Bear with me. Maintenance of the improvements. Upon completion and acceptance of the improvements, the county and township shall apportion responsibility for inspection, maintenance, repair, or replacement thereof in accordance with rules and procedures of the New Jersey Dam Safety Office. I'm just worried that it might be, oh, I thought you were going to do this, or how come you didn't do this?
It's 50-50.
It's 50-50. So I'm thinking we may want some type of a committee to make sure these things are getting done.
Well,
Is this something that we could, if 6 months from now, we see that things aren't going smooth, can we come back to the drawing board and say, I think we need to put the dam committee back together?
So long as it does not abrogate the terms of this agreement, yes.
Because it, reading through this, it says every week, the county is supposed to give the township a breakdown of what's going on, everything that's happening. We'll decide who it is. I think it's Public Works Director, our engineer, or the administrator, I believe. So, we'll go from there and see how it works.
This is a breathable working document. And it's one that is geared toward codifying a much more looser arrangement than what exists now through the committee. Looser, yes.
I think it's a very good agreement. I've read through it, and, anything that happens, we always have to have safeguards, but I think this holds both the township, us, the federal government, feet to the fire. So I think it's very good. So I would like to move this resolution.
Anybody else have any more discussion? Okay, Judy, you motion?
Yes.
Second?
Second.
Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Abstain.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Cheek?
Yes.
3 yes, 1 abstention, motion carries.
Next, we have 6F. Mr. Sandman, I believe you already touched on that.
Yeah, this is a much easier document to swallow because it's shorter and less technical. But in order to access the site for staging, storing, and doing the work, they need an easement on the portions of the land which the township owns. It's a temporary easement that ends when the completion of the dam is done. It is absolutely necessary.
Which site is that?
Pardon me?
Which site is that?
It's big. You may not have the exhibit.
Might not have it.
Yeah, it has a diagram on the back.
It says Hamilton Township with an arrow on the last page.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, fine. I'm fine. Any discussion? Motion?
I'd like to make a motion
Yeah,
approving this.
right at the peninsula going out. Yeah. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Abstain.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Cheek?
Yes.
3 yes, 1 abstention, motion carries.
Next, we have item 7, the consent agenda, business registration. We have 2 late agenda items. The first one is Francisco's Express. It's a restaurant on Beacon Avenue. Any discussion? Next, after that, we have Rainbow number 652, a retail clothing store on the Black Horse Pike.
They have to be handled separately.
Okay, first, we'll do the Francisco's.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Rita?
We're on the consent. Normally, we take this as a whole.
That's what I thought. yeah.
Are we doing something different tonight?
I don't have the add-ons. Is it listed on the,
It's a consent agenda item.
their consent items?
Yeah, we're on
Yeah,
7A.
let's withdraw the motion, add it to the list,
I withdraw my,
vote on the,
I make a motion to move consent agenda items A through O. Remove,
I would like to remove N.
M or N?
N as in
okay, let's
Nancy,
go A through M,
and then O through R.
and then O, but I want to remove P, Q, and R.
Okay. So we have consent agendas A through M, and then P, Q, or no, you, and
A
O.
through M and O.
Yeah,
And O, not N, O.
yeah, not N,
N,
N-O.
you're not,
Do we have any discussion?
is that N, letter N, O?
We're taking out.
The letter N is taken out.
Okay,
And then P, Q, and R we're taking out.
okay,
You have a motion?
okay, so moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Letter N, the reason I asked for that to be taken out is the gov deals. I have no problem with talking to the firemen in town. They're storing a lot of unused equipment that they can't use anymore, and it's jamming up the firemen's space. I would like to authorize Brett with the gov deal for sale to sell what basically the volunteer firemen don't need anymore. If they want to clear it out of their building and sell it, authorize it that Brett can sell it. You agree, Brett? Yeah. Any discussion? Motion?
Is there an inventory list, Brett?
We can get one from the chiefs, I would think.
maybe we should, extend
Coming
it.
up?
Yeah.
Please. I'm sorry, are you suggesting those items be added this evening?
That just part of the gov deals, not added this evening. giving
Okay,
them
so not
authorization.
part of this resolution. This is a new resolution you're adding.
Yeah,
That would be a new,
That would be
that's-
not tonight,
not tonight.
because we gotta have a list.
That'd be more of a,
Okay,
more of a director than.
okay, but we're doing it. Okay.
I want to field this question for Brett. So it's not as simple as that. We do have an inventory list of fire equipment that is still very usable, that we've been sharing or giving to the fire departments as needed or as requested. There is some, like you're saying, there's some old gear that hasn't been used, some old bottles, things of that nature that's outdated for our use, but could be used in another state that has different laws. So we can get a list together for that.
Yeah, we can inventory it and then just bring it up at a later date.
We can, and we've been doing that periodically anyway. So as we get that information, it usually goes to Chris Tilley, and then Chris Tilley usually gets it put on gov deals
Okay.
and things of that nature. So it's already being done, but
Okay.
we'll look into it.
I know, just meeting with the fire chiefs and whatnot,
Yes.
they were saying how they're getting bogged down for space and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, so that leaves N in its present state to be voted on.
Yes, we can vote on N.
I move 7N.
Second,
Judy, second.
second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now P. Carl?
This is a house over in Harding Lakes that's been a bit of a nuisance for quite some time. It's overgrown. The owner walked away, and it's taken quite a bit of time to get it to the point now where it's going to be cleaned up, and the township will hire an outsider to come in, clean up the property, and then lien the property. But basically, I need to abstain from this, that's all.
Do you have a motion on P?
I move, P, resolution.
Have a roll call.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I would like a roll call.
We were going to do a roll call.
Okay,
Um,
Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes,
Mr. Batali?
Abstain.
Deputy Mayor Cheek?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 abstention, motion carries.
Item Q, budget transfers as recommended by the chief financial officer.
I just wanted her to give a brief synopsis on what this is and what's going on so everybody in the audience knows?
Sure. The budget law allows for transfers to be done in the last 2 months of the year. And the specific transfer explanations, we're transferring into Management of Information Systems at $80,000. This is for our renewable of our Microsoft contract. The cost of it obviously has gone up, and that's the transfer to pay that bill over the next 3 years. $600 is for DCRP. That's just those members. We're running a little short for this year. The Public Works O&E is $40,000. The chillers, the fans in the chillers went earlier this year. We had to do a change order to increase that contract. So this now, because we had authorized that contract change order, now we're going to run short in Public Works. And also with the building maintenances that have increased, Public Works needs some extra money there. The accumulated absences, the $100,000, we have 3 retirees in the police department that have to have their payouts. So we'll need that money there. And then street lighting is the electric bills have come in higher than anticipated.
Yeah, so did my electric bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I move 7Q.
We have a motion, do we have a second? We have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next
Sorry.
we have R, resolution supporting the exploration of feasibility for a shared municipal court.
Bob, can you kind of go over this? I figure people are wondering what's going on since we're already in the,
Yeah, we're already in it.
Indeed.
It's a requirement of DCA in their efforts to get grant monies. All the other communities that are part of the municipal court system countywide have to do the same thing. I think that most of them already have, but it is a formality to support a grant application.
What is the amount that we're getting from the DC?
You know, Judy, I don't know, but it's being handled by county council.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Motion?
So moved.
We have a second.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Personnel, we're going to move 8A down to 10E, just to move things along. 8B, resolution appointing Chantel Polick as JIF Safety Coordinator for the year 2022. All those in favor, any discussion?
Is this something that Chantel is familiar with, the JIF safety?
This is part of her job description as when she was hired, so now we're formalizing it, and it has to be formalized as part of the JIF.
Okay.
Okay. All
So
those-
moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Roll
Aye.
call.
Oh, sorry.
Roll call. Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yeah.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Cheek?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Resolution appointing Justice Luciano as a full-time police officer for the Township, for Hamilton Township Police Department at step 3 of the collective bargaining agreement with a salary of $50,555.89. Start date to be determined contingent upon successful completion of the background process.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
D, we have the resolution to promote Officer Greg Clayton to to the rank of sergeant at a salary of $117,530, effective December 1st, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Cheek?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and carried.
Next, we have the approvals. 9A, minutes, regular meeting minutes of October 17th, 2022.
So moved.
Discussion, okay, second.
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 Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Cheek?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and carried.
9B, minutes, executive session meeting minutes of October 17, 2022. Any discussion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call. Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Cheek?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and carried.
Next, we have the minutes, the release of the closed session minutes.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Cheek?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and carried.
9D, bills. The bill list total $2,610,349.28.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a second. Rita?
Ms. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mrs. Link?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Cheek?
Yes.
Oh, yes, and carried.
Now we have the reports. Mr. Administrator.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The Township is preparing for storm season, and as such, the Township is coordinating with IT, PD, DPW for the chain of command notifications, and will switch to email notifications for employees regarding any notifications of hours of operation concerning inclement weather. The Township submitting the landfill closure plan application for NJDEP consideration. The Finance Committee will be meeting to review a rough draft of next year's budget. Township has begun contract negotiations with the PBA. Township met with representatives of the Fire Department's Truck Committee to review procedures for specification and the purchase of a new fire truck. The Township continues to move forward with consolidation consultants and advertise for the position of fire administrator to further assist in restructuring. And additionally, the Township continually encourages volunteer and first responder agencies to partner with community events to introduce more volunteerism to the community. Administration is working with departments for customer service preparation and implementation in the new year, including the coordination of multiple online permits, forms, and new resident information packets and new business information packets. And the Township will be focusing on innovative outreach initiatives with businesses, schools, and community groups in the new year. And Department of Community Planning and Emergency Association will be playing a larger role in this manner as well. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I actually do have something to report on tonight, and both of them are good news. The first is that we received this week the judgment for the interim foreclosures finalizing the year 2020 and started the process on 2021. What that means is that the township becomes owners of those properties for failing to pay taxes, and no one bought the tax sale certificates. The second bit of good news I have is with respect to a litigation that's been pending for years. The plaintiff was McCormick LLC, Pro Champs was one of the defendants, as was Egg Harbor Township, Galloway Township, and Hamilton Township. The appellate division rendered its decision on a motion filed by Mr. Madden, who represents us and others, and they reversed Judge Mendez's ruling. The case is dismissed and over. So that's very good news. That's all I have.
Thank you. Our Township Engineer.
Mr. Cheek, nothing further to add unless there's any questions.
Okay. Next, we have committee members. Judy?
I still have some comments about the trophy park that was submitted to us a while ago in August, where we voted on a memorandum of agreement. And this memorandum of agreement is still current. But what I would like to say is there are all sorts of types of incentives that we could look at for possible taxes, increase in tax revenue. But at the same time, we have to consider the consequences objectively and determine otherwise some individuals or businesses will receive benefits and the township residents may actually end up paying for them in various financial and non-financial ways. And I think that's where I found a great, let me say, discrepancy. It's a fine idea, the trophy park, but it is not a fine idea for its location. And the impact to the community is substantial. And I think that our township values the rural aspect of our township and voted accordingly. And I feel as though, you know, being on the Pinelands Commission for 2 years as well as on the Environmental Condition for 9 years, that the overall, let me say, the overall addition of the trophy park would be detrimental to our community. And I believe Carl has the time of the lighting of the lights, so I'm going to pass that on to him.
Me? No. Done, Judy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Earl?
Yes, tree lighting will be the Saturday after Thanksgiving, November 26th, 6 p.m. at War Memorial Park. Come on down, always a good time. Santa will come on the fire truck. Hopefully we have good weather. Just want to mention that if you're interested in getting involved and being a volunteer on our boards or our commissions, applications on the website. There's plenty of openings. So if you're interested, get your application in. We'd like to have them by December 9th, please. A little bit of a sad note. Former police officer, firefighter, rescue squad member Mike Robeson passed away. He was one heck of a volunteer, volunteered a lot of his time. And he passed away at the age of, Greg, 48, unfortunately. So just want to let everybody know about that. Keep his family in your prayers. And also, a little bit closer just to me, locally, Colt Bonsall passed away. He was one of our neighborhood dads, lived right here in town, and he just recently passed away. He was spent a lot of time with the kids. He coached, and he owned a town tavern for a couple of years. But sad to see him go. Was tight with his family, and that was sad. On a brighter note, I'm sure you were going to bring it up, the Lakers. Cincinnati Lakers. I don't want to steal any of your thunder, but
No, do it.
Taxi Squad and Varsity Squad won the championship yesterday. I think been-
Are you going to tell them my granddaughter cheers for the taxi?
does she?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So nice to see that. I think the last time they won that, I think Bobby Fink was playing. I'm not sure. And Nelson, that's right, Nelson. But congratulations to them. That's. I know they were all very excited. They got a little parade through town yesterday. So good for them, and looking forward to the varsity guys moving up to high school and seeing what they can do at either. Hopefully they go to Oakcrest but of course Cedar Creek or whatever. But good job to all of them. Congratulations. And Reagan, Maddie, hope to see you soon. Reagan, I'll see you Tuesday.
Thank you.
No comment.
No comment. All right, for me. First of all, I'd like to congratulate everyone with the election from Congress all the way down through county, local, Board of Education. And then on a personal matter, after 30-some years in business, today they started moving out all the tools and equipment out of my truck, out of my shop. So to see the trucks pulled down the driveway is a little bit of a different feeling. And that's all I have.
I bet you your wife can fill those holes in the garage now, right?
Yeah.
She'll have plenty
I
of stuff
plenty
to
of
fill
room
in.
now.
Is
Yeah.
this a major retirement statement, or?
Yeah, that's it. All right, next we have item 8A, the discussion regarding the administrator's contract. Do you want to start it off, Carl, or?
Yes, so I know our contract with the administrator states that if he's going to work or do anything outside activities, administrator should not spend more than 10 hours in teaching, counseling, or other non-township connected business without the prior approval of the township committee. However, for such activities less than 10 hours per week, although no approval is necessary, the township committee will be kept advised of all such activities in writing and in advance. Where that our administrator is also working at South Toms River, and I never got anything in writing. So I don't know if that's just an oversight or whatever, but I think that just needs to be addressed.
Go ahead, Joe.
Governing body members, as you know, my contract is on the agenda at Carl Patali's request. And in response to Mr. Patali's request to discuss this, I've asked it in public. Simply because at any point prior to my appointment, during my 9 months of appointment here as administrator, Mr. Patali can simply ask me at any point, whether by phone or in person, at any time, any question you have. So you don't have to do it at a meeting here. You didn't have to even rice notice me. And furthermore, because Mr. Patali's goal is strictly to politicize and criticize rather than inquire and understand, here's my full public statement. My family comes from a very long line of extremely hardworking people. From farmers to firemen to military and fire suppression. I was told from a very young age to show up, do your job, and then do more. And at the same time, encourage other people to do the same. Now we are in a national employment crisis where consensus is forming that the current talent shortage may be a long-term or permanent feature of the economy. Employee retention will be the #1 priority of employers in 2023, and company culture is the #1 driver of retention. And the public sector is trying to find ways to compete against this private sector, specifically of Walmart. Therefore, the public sector employees and those good people that commit to good public policy and do the work on behalf of taxpayers should be commended, not treated in such a disrespectful, callous, and unconscionable political game that you, Mr. Patali, and your campaign manager, Jenny Ayers, have engaged in the adolescent game of public whack-a-mole, otherwise known as bullying. The recreation of alternate facts or lies from your campaign equates to nothing more than a psychology of human behavior called denialism, which is a person's choice to deny reality as a way to avoid psychologically uncomfortable truths. That truth is some people just work extremely hard and still find time for family. I will not apologize for having 2 jobs, being a father of 2 beautiful kids, a dedicated husband, and still being a Little League coach, which we won the 7U national, or with 7U shore championship travel baseball this year. All right? We're very, very happy about that. Kids work hard, and I'm happy for them. So if I, or anybody, work hard enough, can successfully complete their jobs and tasks, then go have another job, then coach Little League, then I commend any person able to do so. This township has made massive strides in customer service, automation, consolidated services, and has become more efficient while making government smaller. I have more than 1 job, and I'm also a coach of a travel baseball team. I help with football. 6 days a week, I'm a family man. 7 days a week, I'm a family man. I'm a hardworking man, just like every employee of this town. And for you to continually try to find ways to belittle or berate public employees, myself including, in some tin hat fashion minutia is unconscionably and cowardly. The fact that you directed your own campaign manager to do this political dumpster diving to obtain a contract in another town, which you were already made aware of, only suggests that you cannot remove yourself from political activity and you care only to tear hardworking people down and had enough energy to do so. If you and your campaign team had enough energy and the right mindset, you would be focused on improving the town, finding ways to build it up, not tear hardworking people down. In order for me to work part-time at my job, the governing body, you sir, had to authorize it. HR manager does have that, and you are made aware, and you were made aware of every time. You could have asked me at any point in my 9 months of employment instead of this political charade. I would like you to find your advocacy voice. I do. Direct your campaign manager to go and find people who are defrauding government, people who don't want to work hard, bad actors. Go after them. Build up your town, not tear down hardworking people. I have more to say, but I think I'll refrain. I have
So
no
you
further,
have something in writing?
I have no further questions or comments to this matter. I think we've wasted everybody's time more than enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have this in writing? Anywhere? That's all I asked, Joe. Was just something in writing. That's it. That's all I asked. When was it provided to me? I don't have it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a hardworking person, and he wants me to know that I've given him a document that says I have another job. He's known this, so this is only political charade. I'm so sorry that
No, I
everybody
haven't
here.
known this, Joe.
I'm so sorry that everybody here
Show
is
it.
really.
Where is it in writing? It
It's an
states
HR
right there in
document.
your contract
It's an-
that it has to be in writing.
It's an
I
HR
have
document.
nothing.
Well, listen, that's your own.
My own what?
Well, that's your fault. Listen, you
Why
have.
don't you bring it now?
I think we're done here because there's difficult today. So thank you very much. You've known this for 9 months before.
No, I haven't.
Sir, I think we're good here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
The record will reflect the township administrator left the meeting at 7:34 PM.
All right, next. Yeah, next we'll open it up to public comment.
Can I say?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to say, on the interview with Mr. Kostecki, he did say that he had some different items that he had to tie up with his former job. Okay? And that was a little nebulous, but we said, okay. But when he started working for us in March 5th, he said that he would be working here 40 hours, and I'm not sure that he has been in this building for 40 hours a week, but I'm not going to go there. However, he signed up for this other job March 15th. So I only found out about this very recently, and I'm really disappointed. So,
And I like to clear something up too. So I requested that this be an executive session. It was his choice to put it out in the public. I felt that when I got that information, that all committee should have a chance to hear it and ask the question to Mr. Kostecki in executive session, not in front of everybody. So that this wasn't my intention at all. I didn't try to make this political. I simply asked, and if it was an oversight at his part, put it in writing right now, and then we'll move forward from there. So, and he's not here to defend himself, so I'm not going to say anymore.
Close the matter.
I don't know. That's for me right now.
All right, public comment? Ms. Dix?
The budget. We have heard along the way about the 23% increase in the employer contribution for the health insurance premium. Based on looking at the two budget, and I don't remember the sheet number that health benefits it's on, it's maybe in the 20s, because they're not called pages, they're called sheets. I'm estimating the 23% time that budget line is in excess of $500,000 of one single new expense. The second bomb the state dropped is apparently it's a 10% increase in the employer payment toward the pensions. That is in the area of $225,000. The two together is about $750,000 of just two items, a new expense in the 2023 budget. On sheet 10 is where the revenues are listed that choose to be revealed to the public. The one I'm specifically speaking about, it took me a long time to figure out what is ARP revenue loss. Only when I heard on TV one day ARP, they were referring to the American Rescue Plan. That was our COVID money. Our COVID money on the notice statewide that Senator Booker sent out listing county by county, town by town, we got more than $2.5 million. I think it was $2,529,000. And $1.1 million was used in the 21 budget to avoid a tax increase. This year's budget, again on sheet 10, it's on the township's documents, $1.5 million was put in to plug that budget hole to avoid a tax increase. Unlike Weymouth and Estelle Manor, binding some of their money, if not all, the two towns bought a new ambulance with their money. Northfield bought a new park, a new playground is being installed at Birch Grove Park using some of their money. We did not get not one capital item, long-lasting item for our $2.5 million. So now let's roll it back. The $1.5 million in this year's budget as a revenue is a revenue hole for next year. Add to my approximately $750,000, $750,000 in just those two new costs. I'm looking in my mind, if I'm correct, and I could be wrong, $2.25 million. That's the whole. Now let's look at, is there a police contract? What's the new money in the patrol contract? That's over and above what you're paying now. What is the new money to fund next year's raises? We used to do these calculations at the MUA on union negotiations. We knew exactly what the new money would be. What's the new money on any other union contract the Teamsters or any employees on a contract, what's the total new money that you're already bound to by contract to add to what I'm estimating to be over about a $2.25 million hole? So as you're starting to talk budgets, I'm suggesting, and I covered, one more, I'm glad I looked at my notes. One of the bills on the bill list you paid to the Atlantic County Treasurer is round number $48,000 a month, October, and $48,000 for November. You're paying to be a part of their court. Have you received revenue reports? Do you know what revenue we have received for our portion of the fines and fees collected from the court that are the offset to our expenses? Have we received any money from the county?
I don't know, but I know we have asked for the reports.
It's a critical number.
Those reports are given to you every meeting. They're your revenue status reports and your budget status reports.
Okay.
And yes, we do receive monthly our revenues from the court.
Can we get an idea what kind of money we're talking about?
I don't know.
I mean, if it's costing us $48,000, are we getting $4,800 as a revenue? And $4,800 times 12 months is about $60,000. That's not much. Compared to the $500,000 plus that we used to get net revenues over the expense of operating our court.
I can say one thing, court money is way down because.
I'm sorry, wait a second.
Court
That's okay.
money is way down because of the pandemic, and it is still continually down. I don't know the numbers.
It's okay, Richie. I'm looking how we're going to plug a hole. I mean, how we're going to plug all of these holes. I'm looking tonight, while somebody's trying to figure out that number, I'm looking tonight to see this township committee authorize a spending freeze and a hiring freeze after tonight so that we start to try to create more funds from 22 to go into 23.
That's bill list. I didn't know if it was on the back.
Junior department report.
Hold on. Yep. There you go. There you go. You'll find it way faster than I will. Mm-hmm. And that's what we actually got. We're 100,000 behind.
I'm good. No, I don't want to say it.
Can you say that?
So we're
I want to be like Joe
100,000
Biden,
behind.
have to hold the mic.
Is that 48,000 every month? Is that steady every month?
I do. I know
I
what I'm
don't
doing.
remember off the top of my head.
Oh, you're losing
But I mean, after the end of the year, that's when we got to sit down and figure this out. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, do it.
Go ahead. You're the CFO. Come on.
My apologies. Thank you for letting me borrow my report. The administrator had it, and I didn't know he was going to leave. So we anticipated $293,000 as revenue from the court, and to date, we have received $184,630.42. We're $108,369.58 in the deficit at this time, but we still have October, November, and December's monies to be received.
So you haven't received whatever portion for October has not come. So the 184,000 I wrote down quickly represents basically 9 months, which is about 20,000 a month.
About that, yes.
All right, well, my suggestion is we need a spending freeze, we need a hiring freeze, and do everything we can to only buy something that you have no choice to buy, like gasoline and diesel fuel, just to name just 2 items, and bullets for the guns. Other than that, if we can cut anything, you don't need any more pencils. Thank you, I appreciate the time.
Mr. Carrigan?
Yes, Rich. Because we are in a pandemic still. In fact, I have a question for Carl. Ready, Carl?
Go ahead.
Because we are in a pandemic, the tree lighting ceremony needs to be canceled.
The what?
The tree lighting ceremony needs to be canceled. Do away with it.
We're following all the rules that the state and the government tells us to follow, the CDC, everything.
Because an event like that is a super spreader. You're asking 500 people to get sick.
Okay? It's outside. I mean,
Things are not back to normal yet. The tree lighting ceremony needs to be canceled.
I'll take that under advisement, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
I came in, first of all, my name's Melissa, and...
Sorry, could you
I'm
speak
sorry,
into the
You
Melissa?
have to tell your name.
Yes, can you hear me?
No.
You
You
didn't
can't
get
hear
your
me?
name, I'm sorry. Melissa?
Uh-huh,
Last name?
White.
Thank you.
And-
Yeah, you gotta actually speak
and where you
right.
live.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Anyway, I came, I think, on two folds. I want to thank you, especially Mr. Mafi, for coming to my neighborhood to speak with some of the ladies there regarding our concerns that we brought up maybe back in August, I think, about our neighborhood and Artist Walk. We're so happy. The roads in our neighborhood look so good. Sidewalks, I didn't expect that, but that's good. And the retention pond was cleaned out. I don't know how long we have to go before it's cleaned out again or how that process works, but hopefully it can be done on a yearly basis maybe, or every 6 months. Also, I would like to say, and I need one more thing, we would like more street lights in our neighborhood. We just had the kids go around trick-or-treating, and I was sitting on my front porch, and I noticed the lights, the street lights, we don't have that many, and I was just told that some of them, or at least one of them, has gone out. So I don't know how that's handled, but for the most part, I came to thank the committee for getting all that done. And that's it.
Thank you.
I drove through your neighborhood. That asphalt does look nice. Joe, so is the homeowners association, Joe or Bob, is the homeowners association now responsible for the retention pond at Artiste Walk? But not yet. Okay. And I believe all your electric and everything is underground over there, right? So if they want lighting, I don't know whose responsible that is, if that would be the homeowners association?
Well, if there's actually lights that are out, that would be Atlantic Electric, because they have to go back and maintain them. Regardless, the developer installed them, Atlantic Electric maintains them. So if there's lights that are out, we'll have to contact Atlantic Electric. If additional lights are needed, I guess that request would come to council or to committee, and then you would approve it and or disapprove it, and Atlantic Electric would put them in.
If you could email committee@townshipofhamilton.com with your questions, and then we'll disseminate them out to whoever it needs to be. I believe that you can go online on our website to ask for a street light. Brett, go on the Hamilton Township's website and Public Works page, and I believe there's a request form that you can fill out for lighting. And if the lights are out, there's a number on the pole. Get that number and Atlantic Electric, or okay. Let Public Works know, and they'll call it in. But there should be there's a number on the pole. Get that number and call Public Works. Give them that number, and they'll get it.
Okay, and one last thing I forgot.
Oh, whoa, come on.
Just one. I mean, I sat through all this that it was going on tonight, so I think you can listen to me with this one last thing. I think this is for the chief of police.
Greg?
You gonna talk to me later? You will? Oh. Okay. But let me put it out there anyway.
Sure.
It is I forgot, because I think I was told this, but I just forgot. The signs that need to, or we want it to be put in our neighborhood, no parking from here to the corner, and no parking on this side of the street. Is that something?
Want to give us an update? I think they were ordered.
They can,
They were
they can
might have- they
not
might
do
have-
it by themselves.
Because you and I talked on the phone before and everything.
We have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on. You don't remember talking to me when you were here before?
When I was here before.
Yeah.
But I'm a little older than you.
Yeah, okay. You don't look older than me.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Okay, all right. So anyway, the signs that you're speaking of for the no parking, are you speaking out on West Jersey or in
West
Regan?
Jersey and inside Artist Walk.
Okay, so the signs that are on West Jersey and everything have already been put up, so there is no parking there.
Okay.
Yeah, they are there.
See, I told you.
All
it was
right.
old.
The signs in Artist Walk, we personally never put any signs up, the township. So if you're speaking of no parking to a stop sign, like 50 feet from a stop sign and things of that nature, there won't be any signs there. It's just law. You don't need signs for that, like if somebody parked next to a stop sign.
Joe, if they are under performance, that would be under the contractor, and they don't have signs shown.
Well, actually, as Chief was saying, if it's actually within a residential neighborhood, there's requirements for a certain distance from the stop sign. It's not usually provided with additional signage.
Yeah.
It's just by law, it's got to be, I think it's 50 feet from the stop sign intersection, things of that
Well,
nature.
they probably can't do it because they're still under performance bond, correct?
Possibly, yes.
Yeah.
So, but if there are areas that should be no parking in that development, once everything's settled and everything, we can change our ordinance to make certain streets no parking and certain sides of streets. To answer your question.
Okay, I'm
Okay?
good now.
You good?
I'm good. Thank
Anything
you.
else?
Thank you.
No.
We're here to please.
Are you now?
You are.
I remember that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know this meeting's running long, so I'll be brief. My name's Art Shanker, 608 Whispering Woods Court. As a former committeeman, former mayor, what I witnessed here tonight is an absolute disgrace. If this committee's going to sit there and let him get away with talking to a fellow committee person like that, he needs to be reprimanded, he needs to be suspended, he really should be terminated. It's a disgrace. He needs to be reminded who he works for.
Anyone else in public comment? Ma'am?
My name is Danielle French, and I've come before you twice before for help about the constant barrage of dogs coming from 6825 and 6839 Harding Highway. Even though I filed charges, it still goes on. This last Saturday, my husband had to shoot and kill one of the dogs as it was trying to attack him as he was getting our cat out of the tree. They chased these dogs are 100 to 150 pound guard dogs. They're not golden retrievers. They're not Labradors. These are Great Pyrenees. They're great with their own people. They're great with their own animals. But when they see somebody new to them, when they're roaming or on their territory, they attack. These dogs have come over to my property so often, they look at my property as theirs. And even though I filed charges, it could take months and months I don't know what the woman's running over there, some kind of petting zoo or some kind of business or something with all these animals, but I need help. I can't go out of my house for fear I'm going to get attacked next. These dogs are literally 1.5 times bigger than me. If my husband didn't carry a gun with him, he'd have been attacked. And although he thought the dog was going after the cat, that dog was going after whichever one of them he got to first. I need something to be done. I don't know if the township can make these people put a fence up, put a fence down Beacon, but something has to be done. They're going to run one of my horses into the road, or they're going to go try to kill my cat, which they tried to the other day. We got her there at the nick of time. This is unacceptable, just absolutely unacceptable. I need help, and I'm begging the committee to help me somehow.
That'd be the county for pets?
Greg, I believe, I'm assuming that they have been issued summonses, and then it goes to a court, and then it dies.
And I understand her concern. I've actually gone out there myself and spoke to the property owner, or the dog owners and everything. They have told me that they're keeping the dogs on a leash and everything else. But she's saying that it's reoccurring, so we're still trying to resolve it in a way that maybe we can capture these dogs with live traps if they get out of the yard and things of that nature. So it's ongoing, trying to mitigate this issue. There have been multiple complaints signed against the homeowners, or the dog owners, I should say, and it's in the court system right now.
But the last time something like this happened, 18 months. 18 months to get somebody to court. 18 months.
So I do understand her frustration, but it's not like it's falling on deaf ears.
I mean, I don't want to have to carry a gun.
I don't want to have to carry a gun either, but unfortunately.
My husband, every time we go out, I tell him, do you have your gun?
No,
Do you have your gun?
Well,
I know.
this is something that I think we do have to discuss, is when we went into this court system with the shared court, we were promised that we would get the same services that we had when we did it ourselves. And I think we're finding that may not exactly be the case with some issues.
To a certain extent, yes. You're correct.
So I think that's something, and it could be the growing pains of the county municipal court.
It's not just that, it's just our, the legislation as a whole. I would say how they're handling certain cases and things of that nature because of bail reform and other things. So it's probably a combination of.
Because it sounds like the same thing is happening with that situation out in the Black Horse Pike where you asked if you can be the
Yes, very similar.
prosecutor. And it seems like those issues, whatever it is, land usage, whatever, when it goes there, they don't issue a bench warrant, and then it just kind of,
Yeah,
it
that's
just ends
what
up out in the middle of
happened with
nowhere.
the last time. They just kept not showing up. And I begged the judge to declare one of the dogs vicious, and she said she couldn't do it. And then I said something about, well, they're not showing up. She said she couldn't issue a bench warrant.
I can check on that aspect of it tomorrow. We can look into it.
Thank you.
And the first time she wanted to send it to mediation, this is well past mediation.
Sounds that way. I'm sorry.
I'll reach out to the homeowners again.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
this is terrible.
Keep saying homeowners. All right.
Thanks, Chief.
Okay, thank you.
But it's a nuisance property. Even with the last people who lived there, they were squatters. They were breeding pit bulls, I think. I could see the female there, and they had a bunch of others. Now, these people, I thought everything was going to get better. It's gotten much worse.
I'm sorry.
Anything you could do, please, to expedite this or something.
There's something.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Talk to Greg tomorrow.
Hi, Alice Henry, Drosera. I just wanted to touch base with everyone here at the committee and see if there's been any updates or changes regarding Trophy Park. or in regards to changing all of Hamilton Township to no longer be considered a rezoning area.
Slide the mic up, please.
If there's any changes to see if there's moving from the rezoning all of Hamilton Township. I wanted to touch base to see if anything's been worked on within the committee or if there's any plans at this present time.
As far as I know, we haven't had a meeting since the last meeting here, so nothing has changed.
Are there any plans to start changing that?
We'd have to get to the planning board and whatnot. That would be down there.
Okay, so it's going to be a long time before anything changes, essentially.
The planning board meets Thursday evening. You can come then.
It is quite challenging as I'm a doctor and I work 12 hours a day, about 5 to 6 days a week. So every time I come to these committee meetings, I am taking time off of work to be here with you guys and express my concerns. So it's really eating into my personal time off to just be here for the committee meetings, to be quite honest with you.
And I apologize, Emily Gibbons was supposed to be here tonight, our redevelopment attorney, but she had a conflict, something that they had to do tonight. So they will be here on the 5th, and I'll make sure it's on the agenda as a discussion item, because I would like her to go through how the whole redevelopment process works, so that everybody understands and knows where we are with that.
I would greatly appreciate it because this, I think, concerns our entire town, to be honest with you, our entire township, since everything is considered up for rezoning. It puts a lot of any areas that we consider special and personal to Hamilton, the township of Hamilton, to be in jeopardy, in my personal opinion. I don't know if Mr. Naw is able to speak on this, but I'm very interested to hear how he plans to go and get plumbing and water out to that area, because as far as I know, that area is not slated for city water or sewer. And there was no plans to ever bring city water or sewer there anytime in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's to be considered.
Mr. Kurtz?
Good evening, folks. My name is John Kurtz. I'm president of the Mays Landing Merchants Association, and on behalf of the Rotary Club also, Ron Smith is our president. He couldn't make it here tonight. He had other obligations. And then Keith Prince. I just wanted to, he's our vice president with the Merchants Association. I just wanted to touch on the Halloween parade. With everything that's happened in this COVID environment, both organizations lost members, valued members to COVID, and this year was very challenging, but necessary to make sure that parade happened. And we want to thank all the folks who financially contributed to make the parade a success this year. And it really helped, particularly the electric sign that went through the parade. So many businesses stepped up to put their name on the sign, and those funds really helped to make sure the parade was a success. So this year we worked between the Merchants Association and of course the Rotary Club, who is the sponsor of the parade, to make sure that that event went on, and it was a good event, and we certainly did have a good parade. The crowd was immense. Everybody had a good time, and it brought some light and some happiness into a time after COVID that I think was needed. And that's all I really have to say.
It was a great parade. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
You guys did a great job. Thanks.
Yeah, Rotary steps up every year. They've been doing this for 30 years. I don't think people realize the impact that Rotary has on our community. And thank goodness they stepped up again for that Halloween parade. And the merchants as well.
Tom Kane, Mannheim. Just want to talk about Trophy Park and the impact it'll have on our fire services. I know they're planning on hotels and things of this nature, high-level buildings. Do we have a ladder truck that would take be able to service that currently?
Mays Landing's 100 foot, 102 foot, and I don't know how high Cologne is.
How many trucks do we have to do a three?
There, you look at them, 100-foot aerial platform.
Yeah.
Do we have do we have enough
Building
trucks to
60
support something like that where we have hundreds of occupancy?
I will not even begin to take that question on.
Yeah, I think this is something that we need to consider.
Oh, absolutely. It's-
And egress as well. I mean, we've got roads that are single way all around. You know, getting on the Atlantic City Expressway, getting off it, it's single lane. You know, the egress is just going to be 1.5 million people a year. We can't support that right now. We're putting the cart in front of the horse, I think. I mean, it would be great if we could support it, but I'll tell you what, we do have a place where we can support it right now, and it's at the racetrack. We have the ample means for it to go in and out of there, just right where it's at. And does anybody know where Charles is tonight? Eagles game? Eagles game? Well, last meeting, Mr. Fink invited him to our local neighborhood to see the preserve, right? Be there at 11 o'clock? I just want to put it on record. Did you get a phone call? Did he come? Okay. Well, he's not here tonight, and we voted him out. We have 650 people on our committee here, where our little thing. It's no political conspiracy, Carl. We voted for you, and we voted against Kane. And if you don't think we're here in numbers, we're here in numbers. So we're here against Trophy Park. Thank you.
Mr. Link?
Thanks, Mr. Cheeks. Committee, Jim Link, 676 Park Road, 763 Park Road. We own Young Skating Center. You clarified a lot of things tonight, and I appreciate that. It was going to be a long time, and I don't want to take too much time because, well, anyway, you all know why. But, you know, just to state a very, again, obvious fact, people have spoken, right? People have spoken, and now you guys got to listen. And if you don't listen, it's at your peril, your political peril. So keep all these comments in mind. I was given the same advice when I was on Township Committee many, many years ago, okay? But this is major stuff. Now, regarding a political shock doc, okay, radio personality in the local environments, he's been saying nasty things about people of Hamilton Township, and I was a target of his political nonsense too, again, when I was on Township Committee and on the Planning Board. And I just want to tell you, just ignore him, okay? Because what he's saying is absolute, abject, you know, vile, it's pestilence, it's ridiculous. He doesn't deserve the microphone that he breathes into, okay? And then, again, this abuse, in my opinion, of the redevelopment ordinance, all right? I have to clear the air. I'm still against it, right, personally, for a lot of reasons. It's anathema to me. And last week, you know, you got to forgive my quote, willful ignorance. I was, the last meeting's Harry Rogers, and he used my name, so that's why I'm using his name. He called me willfully ignorant. Well, I admit, I may be ignorant. You know, it's been a long time since I was on the Planning Board. A lot of things have happened, but I understand the basic principle of the redevelopment, why redevelopment is important. But again, to set the record straight, I might be ignorant, but I wasn't arrogant. At least I hope I don't think I was arrogant, okay? But I would just like, you know, people to know that ignorance can be cured, right? Stupidity, not so much. By the way, Carl, congratulations on your reelection. I congratulate Thelma, and I congratulate the people of Hamilton Township to make their voice heard as they wish. That's what it's all about as far as I'm concerned. And thank you for the time for allowing me to speak.
Anyone else? Motion to close public portion?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.